It's great to be with you again. And we're still continuing on marriage. And the last time we talked about something that is very interesting, something that is needful or needed by many, some outside of marriage, some in marriage. But because we are focusing on marriage healing, I'm going to align this more towards marriage. And what are we looking at today? Well, for today, we are looking at how your childhood, your upbringing in childhood days, how it affects your marriage dynamics. Some people are facing things they can't explain. They don't know what is responsible for this. Am I not lucky enough? Or, they just narrow it down to luck. Some think the way to solve this is just pray about it. I tend to believe more that prayers will bring you in contact with where you can receive help or who can help you. But if you think you will just pray and things change based on your prayer, it's like wanting to pray to change your hormones. I mean, your hormonal balance, either as a man or as a woman, and you just think praying will do all that. Maybe, I don't know. But I believe that one of the ways that we shape our lives and our destiny is by being taught or being led, guided, whichever one you want. If a man does not learn the things he needs to know, he's likely going to remain that same way forever. Think about it. The people that we have today are specialists in one thing or the other, had to go through some form of education, or guidance, coaching, mentoring, whichever. And nowadays, it's so easy for you to alter your lifestyle or your life pattern if you can only locate who can guide you, locate who can give you that training. I think that word training, it suits in so well. Now, let me give you some scenarios. One is a marriage dynamic that both the man and the woman feel they have this kind of sense of security. They are not having complex problem, as in, I feel inferior, my spouse feels superior, or my spouse feels inferior, and I feel superior. No, they don't. So you see that, let's use the name Alex for the man. The man feels secure in the relationship, doesn't play the mind games, and supports Jeremy's independence. So the wife is an independent person. She is an independent woman. I mean, she doesn't seem to want all the things that most other women want. And he's not feeling insecure about it. The explanation for this, we'll do more of it in the Marriage Healing Masterclass. Now, but this is just to give you an idea of the kind of things we are going to deal with. Now, this is another scenario where the wife, whose name is Sarah, needs so much closeness. And sometimes the husband, who happens to be Mark, feels overwhelmed. And that kind of builds tension. Now, you don't understand what I'm saying, but there are people who are experiencing that. The man is okay, the woman is not. He's okay in the sense that he feels she should feel at home with herself, do what she wants to do, but she doesn't feel that way. She feels that she should always be with the man, always be clinging to the man. And that can be very overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming. And it might be, in some cases, might feel like, oh, this is so good, so sweet. But if it is too much, Bible even explains that too much of honey can cause problems. So as sweet as honey tastes, as sweet as it is, and everybody, I mean, most people don't have problem with honey. It's healthy, provided it comes from the original source and nothing is mixed. When you take too much of it, Bible tells you it can cause problems. So Sarah constantly worries about her husband, her partner, and Mark is not feeling comfortable sometimes because the worry is too much. He's beginning to sense the impact of it, and is looking for ways to solve that problem. Now, both people are bothered because the one who does it may see it to be a problem, may not. But the person who is receiving, the husband, is having too much of attention, which he doesn't want it that much. Okay. So this is another one, another scenario. Chris prioritizes self-reliance and avoids emotional depths. Chris wants to, now, some of these things may be as a matter of personality, temperament, maybe his personality, or maybe the environment he grew up with made him to develop that lifestyle as a means of protecting himself. So Chris prioritizes self-reliance. And one will say, but why didn't he show that when they started the relationship, when they were getting ready for marriage? Well, it's very simple. As human beings, we do all we can to avoid rejection. So even if it is not how he lives his life normally, he wants to find out what is it that will allow him to have access to your own heart. That's a simple explanation I can give. So many times people, when they are starting the relationship, they act, they pretend a lot until some years down the road in marriage, they begin to be themselves, because by then they would have relaxed and the baggages are beginning to open up and things are falling out of the baggage. So these things, they affect the marriage dynamics. Let's look at the last scenario. I mean, this may not be all exhaustive, but let's just look at the behavior in the last kind of scenario. The man we would like to call Jordan has conflicting desires. Sometimes he wants to pull the partner, sometimes wants to push the partner. What may be responsible for that? So the idea of wanting to always compare your marriage or your relationship with another person's is very dangerous. It's dangerous in that your personality is different. The person's upbringing is different, or the other people's marriage is different because of the people in it. However, through the power of coaching from where you are, now I like to sound a warning. This is my disclaimer. I am not a therapist. Coaching is not therapy. This is not just counseling. Now, those have their places for things that is more of a mental thing. You are always discovering that that happens and you don't seem to have control. You feel you need a therapist. We will gladly tell you, meet up with a therapist and still do your coaching if you want to. But if you think it's a therapist you need, that is my advice. You go to a therapist. But coaching moves you from where you are to where you want to be. And you are given that guidance. You are given that support. You are given that attention to ensure that you achieve your goal. Well, this video is not meant to be that long, but these are just examples, scenarios of how your upbringing affects your marriage dynamics. I mean, we didn't drop from the moon. Even if we did, there will still be some need for some fine-tuning and refining of how we behave or how we conduct ourselves. Some people are very clinging. Some people want to be on their own. Some people double that. They sometimes they want to clean, sometimes they want to push you away. All these things as a result, they are as a result of how they were brought up, or a combination of that and their personalities. But with the help, just hearing about it and feeling that, okay, that's me. Now you're only knowing about the problem. How can you overcome it? These are the things that we look at in the Marriage Healing Masterclass. You can take charge. That's how God designed us, in his image, in his likeness, so that things from the outside don't just control you. Things you do not agree with, things you don't accept, they are likely not going to control your life. But when you admit that that's who you are, sometimes you try to find out what's the matter with me. And some people actually know what's the matter, but they don't know how to get themselves out of it. Want to ask that you join the Healing Masterclass. Click the link that you find with this video and join us. We are on this journey and we'll be able to help you by the grace of God. You will get that solution. Then many times people don't get the solutions because they don't make any attempt. They don't make any effort. They don't bother. They just wish, and wishes don't ride the horses. All right. Thank you. God bless you, and see you on the inside. Bye for now.